Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Emerald with only one Poochyena was a brutally hard solo run with an incredibly weak Pokemon. Let's follow that up with a much weirder run. Today's the day that we figure out, would I be able to beat Pokemon Red with a team of only one Aerodactyl? So, when I was first suggested Aerodactyl in Red, I thought it would probably be too strong to be interesting. The stats are all pretty great, with 515 probably being the highest stats of any Pokemon I've ever done a solo run with. Yeah, I guess it's a bit lower than 515 since this is Gen 1, and the combined special stat essentially makes our special defense lower than in other games, but this still looks great on paper. And then I looked at the moveset. Look, I know a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon don't have a great moveset, but would you look at this? Wing Attack is as weak as Peck in this game, and it's our only attacking move until all the way at level 38. The only level up move that we get that isn't awful is Bite, but it's not exactly great either. You'd think that maybe TMs can save us, but that list doesn't look any good either. We can get Fire Blast in the late game, although we're not going to be great with it. We can't even learn Body Slam. Almost everything in Gen 1 seems to be able to learn that move. I think I just have to use Wing Attack and Bite until I get Fly. Even then, Fly is weaker in this game than in the later ones. This is going to be a really weird run. Like always, I'm writing this script as I go through with the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I mean, I have to be able to win, right? I know our moves are horrible, but even with horrible moves, our stats are amazing. I figured this has got to be possible. Oh, and by the way, this was another challenge that you guys picked on the poll over on Patreon. There was literally a tie for 2 days between this one and another challenge. Anyway, let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Aerodactyl. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Charmander with Aerodactyl so that we can do the whole run with it. I picked to replace Charmander so that our rival would have Blastoise, probably the hardest for us to fight. I name him Archeops because that's hilarious. Man, 16 attack at only level 5 is kinda crazy. Alright, well, early game travel is obviously easy since we've got way more attack than anything else right now, and as much as Wing Attack being as weak as Peck does suck, it's still got 35 power, so it's a totally normal powered move to have at the start of the game. Viridian Forest is really easy as a result, just a lot of bug types that are weak against me. I don't really know how Brock is gonna go though. I figure that Onix might not be too horrible, just because I'm confident that I'm faster, and thus Bide won't be a serious problem. I don't really know for sure though. Maybe we'll just hardly do any damage, and they can chip us down. I do have to worry about Screech. And after that, I'm even a little bit worried about how the Water Gym is gonna go. I want to say that the early game is when we're going to be the strongest, since we have a huge stats lead, and they are using the same level of terrible moves as we are, but I know that they're going to get the move advantage on us pretty fast, and you know, early game is still the Water Gym. Alright, you know this is going to be a weird run when you have a base stats of 515 and you lose to the first gym. But I mean, look at the footage. It's a horrible chip fight. We can hardly hurt Geodude at all. Then once Onix comes out, it just gets us with Screech a few times and tackles us down. I think I'm actually gonna have to be closer to level 15 before I can win this. Pokemon's funny sometimes, isn't it? Where a Bellsprout, something as weak as a Bellsprout, would probably have a really easy time with this gym, whereas an Aerodactyl, who's gigantic and fast and strong, what's it gonna need, like 5 levels above the Bellsprout before it can beat the first gym of the game? Makes me think of those memes where people show, like, legendaries that could destroy universes and they have less attack than Krabby. A crab. Okay, so I grinded to level 15 and things go fine this time. It still takes forever and I'm not really sure how much of us doing better came from the stats and how much of it came from just better move luck, but we won pretty easily. I think it helps a lot that we crit often. As a Pokemon with really high base speed, we crit way more than most Pokemon do in Gen 1. Alright, we're on our way to that awkward part of the start of every Red run, where I'm stuck between the Water Gym fight and the Rival fight. Usually I want to level a lot on my way there since it's kind of hard to grind in that area after you've made the jump of no return over the cliffs, but I think I'm going to be okay this time. Yes, Sand Attack is the worst thing ever and could very much ruin the rival fight, but I have high hopes. Can't be that bad, right? I mean, we're still using an Aerodactyl. This thing is so strong that even with our terrible moves, I think that the early rival fight might be okay. Water Gym? I'm iffy about the Water Gym. We'll see. On our way there, I took the Helix Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone asks anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. So I went after the Water Gem first, and although I lost the first time to a critical Bubble Beam, the second try was a win thanks to us critting almost every move. I forgot how insane it feels to play a high-speed Pokemon in Gen 1. I swear I'm critting more often than not. Hey, does anyone watching actually know how to calculate Gen 1 Aerodactyl's crit rate? Maybe someone can figure it out and I could pin the comment or something, because I would be shocked if it's under 60%. I really do feel like I'm critting more often than I'm dealing regular hits. Then again, that might just be because the crits are really exciting, so they stand out more. Look, it's gotta at least be 35%. If it's below 35%, my mind is gonna be blown. Right after that is our rival, but thanks to Sand Attack missing at the start, it was super easy. Again, the awesome stats are really carrying us. So I have to say, fights are slowly but surely becoming harder while traveling. Better moves are cropping up, and we're still pretty slow to take down any rock types that we run into. Water types are for sure the biggest threat, although we're not likely to faint to any random one we run into. Usually it takes a couple water-based trainers before I have to heal. Which, by the way, makes the SSN a little bit annoying, but I guess it's not the end of the world. You think the Electric Gym could end up being hard? Maybe, right? A rock doesn't resist electricity in any way, so we are weak to electric, and they have a Raichu with Thunderbolt. If anything's gonna be faster than me, maybe it would be the Raichu. He likes using X speed. Maybe if we don't get a one-shot, then he could X speed and get us with Thunderbolt. He crits because Raichu crits a lot. We could actually lose that. Alright, next up is the rival fight on the SSN, and for what must be the first time in recorded history, it was actually harder than the rival fight before it. We were taking so much damage from Wartortle that I was genuinely worried that we were gonna faint. We still won, but that was way closer than I expected. I wonder if this'll become a trend, you know? Will the rival at the Pokemon Tower end up being harder? Because, again, it never is. I'm interested to see what happens there. After that is the Electric Gym, and although it would be completely reasonable to believe that I would have a hard time fighting 3 electric Pokemon when we're weak to them and they resist our extra weak wing attack, you have to remember that Lieutenant Surge is one of the worst trainers on the planet, and we won with more than half of our health left on the first try. I think he was discharged from the military for being bad at Pokemon. Alright, so we have some travel to do, but on the bright side, we're finally getting a better move. We can get our hands on Fly. Now, it's only 70 power in this game, not 90 like it is nowadays, but it's still a big upgrade from Gen 1 Wing Attack. Huge. It's double the power. I guess you could argue that it would do the same damage if I just used Wing Attack twice, but with Fly, I'm dodging moves, so it still seems like the right move to me. Anyway, normally I fight Giovanni first, but I think I'm gonna go after the Flying Gym this time instead. I don't know if we're gonna one-shot sweep them, or if something will survive and mess us up. I could see Paralysis ruining us. Let's find out. Alright, so we go to the Grass Gym, just ended up being a sweep with Fly, so that's one bullet dodged. Maybe I should do the rival fight next. Not really sure what's gonna be harder between that and Giovanni. Guess Wartortle's more likely to make us faint, but Giovanni will take longer. I'll go after the rival fight first. Now, as disappointing as this may be, we didn't keep up the trend of the rival fights getting harder. This was the easiest one by far. Total squash. I think our levels are just a bit too high for him at this point. I figure that if the rival fight was that easy, then the Giovanni fight is going to be that easy as well. So we ended up taking a little bit more damage than I expected at the start of the Giovanni fight thanks to Onix having Rock Throw. Thankfully, Onix is the same base attack as a Pidgey, so it's not like it hurt us very much. We had no issue at all. Well, now we're at that part of the game where I think it's gonna get a lot harder. We have the Poison Gym, where they could use annoying effect moves like Minimize, Smokescreen, and of course they like to poison us. We could go after the Silphco rival fight early, but I figure I really don't stand a chance in that fight, at only level 37. I want to try the Poison Gym first. If it goes well, then I'll try the Fire Gym, and if we lose to the Poison Gym or the Fire Gym, then we can go do Silphco early. If there's anywhere that we're gonna get stuck for a while though, it's probably this chunk of the game. Or the Elite Four. Alright, this Poison Gym fight was completely insane. Very early in the fight, we had our accuracy dropped by Smokescreen, so I knew that chances were I wasn't gonna win. We even got poisoned really early, but despite those setbacks, we were still pretty lucky with landing big hits, so we actually made it to Wheezing. Now, the terrifying part of the Wheezing fight is that our health is getting low from the poison, and he can just blow up any random turn. I kept using Fly, hoping he would blow up, but he just kept picking other moves or more X attacks. It looked like I was gonna faint, when at the absolute last moment, he blew up while I was in the air. If he hit one more move or waited one more turn, we would have fainted. So of course I went to the Fire Gym early and we actually had a very easy time. I thought this might be a hard one, but we took even less damage than I was expecting from a lot of their attacks. I know we resist everything they have, but Arcanine is still a very strong Pokemon. It's fast too, that thing crits a lot. It did hurt us a bit, but we were okay. I still think that we might faint at the upcoming rival fight though. I think I should probably use the Fire Blast TM that Blaine gave us sometime soon. I doubt I'm ever going to use Supersonic this run. Alright, well this kind of blew my mind. Despite only having a small level lead, we ended up taking no damage the entire fight. Fly did an amazing job against most of his team, and thanks to him doing things like Quick Attack while we were in the air to make sure he misses, or having Blastoise use Withdraw right when we landed Fly, giving up his chance he had to hit us. And maybe we could have lost that if I had missed Fly and got caught by something extra nasty from Execute or Blastoise, but it went incredibly well. By contrast, the Giovanni fight was much harder. We took 3 whole damage. We were pretty much on death's door. Yeah, our stats rock. I don't think the bad moveset is gonna hold us down that much for this chunk of the game. Maybe by the Elite Four it'll be hard again though. I don't know. I bet that I can sweep the Psychic Gym as long as I use Agility at the start to make sure I'm faster. Well, we actually ended up losing more health than I expected at the Psychic Gym between Kadabra and Mr. Mime mostly, but of course, Fly can one-shot anything here, so we were never in any real danger. I figure the upcoming Ground Gym should be easy, but do you think we're gonna get stuck on the rival fight on the way there? Well, the Ground Gym ended up taking quite a long time thanks to us getting paralyzed off a Body Slam, but we still never came anywhere close to fainting. I'm pretty sure we either resist or are immune to every move that they have. So first at the rival fight is Pidgeot, and I used Agility right away to try and make sure that I'm faster. I thought he had the same idea when he used Agility, but then he kept using it even after his speed maxed out, so he never hit us. Rhyhorn couldn't really hurt us at all, so we took him out pretty easily with Fire Blast, and Growlithe was just a one-shot. Execute was a one-shot as well, but after that is Alakazam, and although we're faster, he put up Reflect, so we left him with half health. He crits us with Psybeam to almost one-shot us, we hit Fly again, he survived with a Sliver, then we got finished off. Alright, that was a rough loss, but I bet you anything if I just try a handful of times, then I could win. We just need Alakazam to either not crit or spam Reflect for no reason, which is something he loves doing. Well, a couple tries later, and we get lucky enough to take out Alakazam in 2 hits despite his Reflect, but right after we missed a Fly on Blastoise and he hits Hydro Pump. Look, I think I'm just having terrible luck here. I'm still pretty sure this is possible. Blastoise picks random water moves in this fight. He might just use Withdraw a lot. Alright, on the very next try, Alakazam doesn't use Reflect, so we get an easy one-shot, but Blastoise is still pretty difficult. I just kept using Fly, and he was using Hydro Pump and Withdraw. The timing was working out well at first, but eventually he used Hydro Pump as we landed. We just got lucky, and it missed. He had more chances to finish us off, but he wasted them with wrong move choices, so in the end, we hardly got a win. I don't like how close that was, though. We so easily could have failed that one again. Alright, we're on our way to the Elite Four, and I don't really know what to think. Yeah, we've had a really easy time with a pretty big chunk of this run, but it's about to get difficult. Bruno should be a breeze, and I'm not even worried about Agatha, but Lorelei will probably be awful. We're weak to both ice and water, and she's got plenty of both of those moves. Lance might be hard just because his team is pretty strong, and last is our rival, where I think it'll mostly be easy until Blastoise. I could see us getting either one shot or close to it. Still, I have high hopes that I can win this run at a pretty low level. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our team. Well, our attack is awesome for only level 50. This is where a lot of our Pokemon are when we're close to level 80, but our defense and special are still not great. We're gonna be fighting stuff that's a much higher level than us, so I could see this being pretty hard. Lorelei especially. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Ice Trainer Lorelei. Alright, well, I didn't really time my fly the best when it came to the start of the fight with Dugong, so we took some damage, but we still got a crit that got us through. Next is Cloyster though, so I went for Fire Blast knowing his defense was way too high and his special is low, but we missed and got pretty easily taken out with a couple of Aurora Beams. Okay, well, we're a lower level than them, so this is to be expected. I'm just gonna level up a bit and keep trying. So at level 55, we have a run that I think perfectly illustrates how awful this fight is. We have a great time with Dugong, with us taking no damage. We hit Cloyster and burned him right away. Then he hits us with Clamp once, and we get stuck in it for so long we faint anyway. Even with him taking burn damage every turn. That was insane. I knew Lorelei was going to be a nightmare though, so I can't really be surprised. At level 60, I lost a bunch more until this try, where I actually got past Cloyster just because it wasn't using Clamp for once. We still took massive damage from Aurora Beam, but at least we made it faint. But of course after that is Slowbro, and we did a ton of damage, but it only took one hit before we fainted. We got some free hits while she was just using Withdraw, but as soon as we got hit, we fainted. I'm getting to level 65, but I think we might need to be at least level 70 to win. A few tries into level 65 and we get this amazing run where we get crit by Fire Blast right away to one-shot Cloyster, and even crit Slowbro early for great damage. It wasn't a one-shot, but we took no damage making it faint. Even Jinx was a one-shot, so we got all the way to Lapras for the first time, and we have full health. We deal more than half of her health and damage from Fly, but then we get crit by Blizzard to get one shot. If we had crit, then she wouldn't have had a chance to do that. I think if we don't get too unlucky, then we can win this. We don't even need to make it to Lapras with full health. We just need to either crit once against her, or have Blizzard miss. Okay, it's 3 tries later and we're at Lapras again. We didn't crit our first Fly, but she missed Blizzard, so I thought I had this in the bag. I hit another Fly, she survived, but then she used a Super Potion instead of finishing us off, so we actually just bit to finish her off. Hey, a win below level 70 is really awesome. Second is Fighting Trainer Bruno. Obviously, this is an incredibly easy first try though. Both Onix took a little while, but it's just because Fire Blast misses sometimes. We had no issue. I'm kind of worried about that Agatha fight though. We might just sweep because we hit pretty hard with Fly, but if we don't, then we have to worry about all of her weird effect moves. Third is Ghost Trainer Agatha. Well, the entire fight was just really easy until the end, when we got confused, hit ourselves 3 times in a row, almost went down to Nightshade, then hit Fly and got the knockout. Agatha just had to make sure that she gave me a heart attack right before the end of the fight. Thanks for that one, lady. Fourth is Dragon Trainer Lance. Well, I thought I was doomed when we crit Fly to leave Water Onix with a Sliver, and he hit Hydro Pump right away, but we actually just hardly survived and finished him off. It's not a good start though. Second is Dragonair, and we nearly one-shot it with a non-critical Fly, just for it to hit Dragon Rage to take us to almost no health before we finished it off. Obviously, the next Dragonair just takes us out. Okay, well, if we were super close to a critical one-shot at the start, and we nearly get a non-critical one-shot on the Dragonairs, then I think gaining a few levels should vastly improve our chances at getting to the later Pokemon on his team. Okay, so at level 70, we're still getting hit by Hydro Pump early, but we take out Water Onix, and now both Dragonairs are one-shots. The enemy Aerodactyl isn't the hardest in the world, but we got a little unlucky and ended up taking more damage than I had hoped. Last is Dragonite, and he uses Barrier early, so our non-critical attacks don't do much. We ended up lucking out and critting early, so we did huge damage, but thanks to a Hyper Potion, we didn't get the knockout and got finished off. We were so close. I just need to survive with more health from Hydro Pump. Then I think I'd stand a chance. So I get a few more levels and keep trying, but right away, Hydro Pump misses, we get past Aerodactyl with pretty good health, and Dragonite spams Agility instead of using anything good, so we win the fight incredibly easily. Gen 1 loves to do that. Be really difficult for ages, then suddenly everyone picks the wrong move and you win with nearly all of your health. Finally, the Pokemon Champion. Right away, Pidgeot is no threat at all, so I got one Agility in to make sure that I'm faster than Alakazam later, then easily bit it down. It used Mirror Move to bite us too, but of course it didn't really do anything. Alakazam just missed Psychic while we were in the air before we one-shot it, and next is Rhydon, so I just Fire Blasted it a few times to take it out. It did get us with Leer though, so our defense is down a bit. RK9 ended up nearly being a one-shot, all it did was miss takedown, so it was no problem at all, and of course Executor was a one-shot as well. Last is Blastoise, so I bit early hoping to flinch him so he doesn't withdraw, but he hit a Blizzard instead. It actually did a lot less damage than I was expecting though. Right as I went for Fly, he used Withdraw, then we didn't crit so he didn't go down, and he landed a Hydro Pump. Of course that took us out. Okay, I can absolutely beat him with slightly better luck, and the whole fight leading up to Blastoise was pretty easy. We can for sure win at this level. Now this took another 3 tries because we kept getting hit by Hydro Pump, but on this 4th one, we finally got a crit early on. It's still not a one-shot, but we tanked a Blizzard and bit him to finish the fight. Well, that was fun. It was a bit fast, but hey, I'm not complaining about that. I've been busy this week. I was worried that it may be too easy just because of our high stats, but I do think that our weird moveset helped keep things interesting. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon Challenge will be up next week on Saturday, like usual, with Pokemon Black, with only one Vanillite. That one actually looks really fun on paper. As always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments in the challenge request section of my Discord channel and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Ad-lib outro time. I've already started the Vanillite run at the time of doing this voiceover. I have gotten pretty deep into that one. I don't really want to give you any spoilers, but you know how I was just saying, oh, that looks fun? Yeah, that's what I wrote in my script last week, because I thought it looked pretty fun. And, look, I thought it would be like Pokemon Black with one Clink, where that was like a really cool run. You know, I got to use really unique moves and everything, and a really unique play style, and I had that whole crit thing going with the scope lens. That was really fun. I thought it would be a little bit like that, because, you know, I saw like, oh, Icicle Spear, that's like his main starting move. I could go scope lens and do something cool with that. I mean, I like Vanillite as a Pokemon. Look, I get the complaint, it's just an ice cream cone with a face on it, but I kind of like it. But, man, no, it was so hard. It's such a hard run. You'll see that next week, though. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.